Hey there everyone, Hitesh here, back again with another live. And yes, this time we are going live on this channel as well. I usually now go live or put videos onto my other channel, HC Talk, but here also we do awesome lives. So whenever I find people who are good friends as well as who have created some product that are amazing and you can get so much of benefit with their knowledge and with their product, I love to invite them on my channel. And today we have such amazing guest and a good friend as well. He has created an amazing product. I was blown away when I saw this product, and I even created a tutorial for that. I'm planning to create a couple of more as well in the future. So now I would like to bring our guest up here. So hey Aviad, how are you?
Not bad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so fun to have you up here on the channel up here. Let me bring you up on the screen itself. So now we are both sharing the screen on the live stream itself. First of all, just to give a brief overview, I loved the view that you showed just right now. Can you show again? That view was fantastic, breathtaking.
Yeah, sure. View from the office. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an office. I would love to work there, there some days. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to see the
Okay.
sunset.
So coming up, first of all, you are also leading up a company as a CTO. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And you have built something amazing as a product, which is Frontegg. So I would love to come that. It's a great product. It is free for developers as well, up to a great range, just like Firebase is and Auth0 is. So can you explain us a little bit about, first of all, what is the problem that you're trying to solve when Frontegg comes to the mind? What is the problem?
Yeah, so I'll share it by explaining on what was my journey as a developer to go to. So I've been a developer for 25 years now.
Oh
Started when
gosh. Oh gosh.
started when I was 15. I'm 40 now. Yeah, and so I started around with C++, and back in these days, and over the last 10 years, I've been focused on web development and SaaS development, even before it was called SaaS. So there was a point where I just realized that I'm building the same stuff all over again, especially because I really love like to build authentication and authorization. This was my personal flavor. So I just realized I'm doing the same stuff all over again, all over again, all over again, where basically my focus should have been elsewhere. I should have been building a product. I should have been building, scalable systems. I should have been focused on other stuff. And 2.5 years ago, when myself and my partner, my colleague, and the other co-founder of the company, the CEO of the company, Sagi, basically founded Frontegg. The idea was that we're gonna unleash the innovation and creativity in developers, where we basically gonna take the burden of building user management, building these sophisticated and yet tedious flows of building social logins, building authentication, building invite mechanism. So that's what we do with Frontex. Basically, you can integrate. It's pretty straightforward, 5 lines of code, and basically we take the entire burden of this authentication, authorization, user management, invites, social login, account management, multi-tenancy management. This is what Frontex
In
basically
fact,
is
in fact,
all
I
about.
would agree on that part. We have built so many of the internal tools, and every time the process starts with that painful same place. You go ahead, start authentication. Sometimes we keep our authentication code so modular and separate that we need to plug it in into many places. We even try to building an SSO, but the problem with the SSO is you cannot have, like, SSO and OAuth are not really very friendly. Because one is token based and one the system are talking to each other, so it's painful. And one thing, when our developers showed that, hey, we are planning to use something like Frontegg, and the amount of code that I saw, it was not just more than like what, 5 lines, 8 lines of code, and that's it. Voila, it works. Not only that, we have also managed the routing part. So it's a well thoughtful program, and it's really going great with that part. So something that you have contributed a grateful of the community. But on top of that, what I'm grateful is that you have also taken care of the new developers that are coming in. So you have taken up a great amount of free tier as well. So thank you so much for helping the developers. You being a developer, obviously, that's coming up from your developer side. So going great in that one. Okay, so what is the challenge? What is the biggest challenge that you faced while building it? What was the first thing that this is the problem, which is going a little bit of that?
Yeah, so when we just founded Frontegg, one of the biggest challenges we saw while building into Frontegg is solving the actual complex use cases. The company is located in Tel Aviv in Israel. We have some of the most innovative companies around the world over here, and we faced like so many complex challenges and complex use cases for early stage startups. They're selling for enterprise.
Sorry for interrupting. Some of the people are requesting, can you bump up your audio a tiny bit? And
Yeah, sure. Hold on.
yeah, that
Is it
should.
better now?
Yeah, this is better now.
Yeah, cool. So basically, what we are here to solve is the complex use case, the many to many relations between a user and an account. So if you think about it, you log into a system or you sign up to a system. Let's take Jira, right? Developers like Jira. Let's take them like each developer in Jira can belong to multiple projects under
Yeah.
different collaborations. And if you think about this pretty straightforward use case, you have one identity which basically serves you in many, many, many projects. And then you can be a collaborator, like you can be an admin of one project and a reader of another project. And that entire, and you can be invited to a project. And what happens if the invitation token expires? How do you ask for a new one? So that complex use cases where we see it in day to day is what Frontegg basically took to solve. And we started from this one. So that was the real challenge of building up the company. We said we are not like any other authentication player out there, and there are quite a few, and they are very good. But we are here to solve like the full user
Yeah,
management.
yeah, of course. I wouldn't shy to name them. Auth0 is there, Firebase is there. But what you are doing is a very specific niche. Others are trying to do so many things. You are not doing that. You are just adding a layer. So whatever my project is, you don't care about it. You just add a layer of authentication on top of that, a user management layer. That's it. I forget about there was a user management problem. That's it.
That's correct. And I think what separates Frontex from these other great players is that we take the full stack approach. So, all of the company here are full stack developers. We believe that any solution should be full stack. So
Yeah.
what we did basically is to cover like this idea of user management end to end. That means that we are taking obviously the API part, we are taking on the login part, but we are taking on the full forms part of user management.
Even the beautiful UI part as well. You have solved that also as a challenge.
Totally, totally. So we take like the entire user invites form, right? We take the user, the SAML configuration, the SSO configuration. We take it upon ourselves as well because we believe that if you want to do user management properly, okay, the way to do it is by providing a full end-to-end solution for your end users, and we do it like by adding an embeddable drop-in admin portal to our customers to integrate
Yeah,
within the product.
that's what I love absolutely, because see, we have a lot of solutions. Like I have used Firebase or Auth0 as well. They're great products. I have used them in the production, no problem at all. But what I loved about it, once I inject the front end, I don't have to do anything at all. No form building, nothing. You just, if even if you want to change the look of how the login screen should look like, one button commit. That's it.
Totally, totally, and we separated it into several environments, so you can test on staging and then you deploy to production. and the users are segregated between the environments. So we try to imitate the way the developers work into the product.
Yeah, so much of that, and and on top of that, additional free tier for developers. I love that.
Totally, totally. So we believe that developers needs to experiment everything, and the free tier should help them. Like you're building an open source, something that is currently you don't know how it's gonna work. You shouldn't you should go ahead and use the product. We always try to assist non-profit organizations. If you're a non-profit, you'll not pay anything. So that's what we are. We are trying to help developers, not just with the product.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, on top of that, one more thing I loved about the way how you have taken down this problem is the way how the documentation was laid out. So, I was quite impressed, and I even eventually saw it that it's being developed by a developer who saw this pain that when you copy paste from the documentation, the keys were there right cooked in. Very small, but only a developer is going to notice that feature that, okay, I don't have to replace the sample data. The automatically system is giving me key in the documentation. So good, so good.
Yeah, the purpose of it is actually, we don't, as I mentioned, I'm a developer for 25 years. If there's something I'm lacking of is patience, right? Developers, they are not patient. They want to have something like that. They want to work like fast, and if something doesn't look like they want to see it, they'll just move to the next project. So what we wanted to make sure is that they have a frictionless onboarding where they don't need to go and look for the keys and look for the domain and look for the URLs. It just needs to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody, Gulshan says it is similar to Strappy. I don't think so. Your product is not similar to Strappy. You can say Auth0 would be a competition, maybe some component of Firebase, but Strappy, I don't think so. What's your take?
No. Yeah, no, it's not. It's nothing like that. Yeah, it's more of the authentication authorization world. We have
Strappy tries
some.
to do a lot more for you. And one incident I still remember, I was about to make a video on that. That recently one of my friend actually put the Strappy entire code base onto the GCP, and it generated $800 for him as a bill, although he was not using it that much because the calls maybe are optimized or not or something. This is a very famous article. Right now it is trending on the Medium as well. So yes, with that kind of a thing, stuff happens.
Yeah, totally. So what we try to do is basically to lay the foundation of your application, but we don't try to be your application. We believe
Yeah.
the developers should have a solid foundation to build their application on.
Okay, so
But basically,
one more question for you, if you're comfortable in answering that. What is the tech stack that you used while building the Frontegg generic overview?
yes, obviously we can like go into very details. There's nothing to hide here. So there was another challenge here because Frontegg is a developer tool. So by being a developer tools, that means that we have to basically be supporting any tech stack over there.
Yeah,
So we build the internal, and remember that we have a front end SDK, we have a back end SDK, and we have obviously our SaaS backend. So most of our SaaS application is Kubernetes based with Node.js over one of the best libraries out there and one of the best frameworks out there, which is Nest.js. So we are very proud to be running on Nest.js. One of our lead developers is constantly supporting and opening PRs on Nest.js. So we really like Nest.js. It's a great framework. Um, and then came the question on how are we building the front end. So our front end architect basically created everything in React, and then we wrapped it through Shadow DOM and Webpacks, and created around it several SDKs, a Next.js SDK, an Angular SDK, a Vue.js SDK. But most of the code in Frontegg is implemented through React and Node.js over Nest.
Awesome. So do you use TypeScript or JavaScript?
Yeah, no, so we are 100% TypeScript.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You are still afraid about that types. You need to know what type of data is coming in, what type of data is going out.
Yeah, so we really like we have a bunch of tools that we're using in order to validate types and validate everything around it. We really believe that even if you're coding with Node.js, it should be just the way that we coded, like, I don't know, 10 years ago with C Sharp and Java.
So
Everything should be
it is
strong with that.
expected. Coming up from a developer who is having 25 years of experience, type safety is number one priority, I think, for you.
Totally. Yeah, and everything is we are maintaining different layers of testing. We are CI/CD completely going to production. So we are using Jest for testing, and then we have API test. Obviously, the awesome Cypress for front end testing and end to
Still,
end testing.
big fan of Cypress.
Yeah. So same here. One of the best companies I've seen. They have a great project. They have a great product. Really love them.
So awesome. Okay, one more question that would be really helpful for everyone watching up here is, how do you hire developers? Like, obviously, you take interviews, a lot of them. So, what is the first thing that you look in the candidate that has? Suppose I have applied to your company. What would be the first thing that you'll be looking at?
Yeah, so that's a funny question because if you ask me, like, I don't know, I've been managing people, R&D the engineers for I don't know 10 years now. So if you would ask me 10 years ago, I would say they have to be I don't know, really sharp. They have to be really I don't know, strong developer, strong coder. Right now, being a 50 people startup, 50 developer startup, one of the most important thing that we hire is culture. So first of all, you need to be a nice human being to work with, right?
Exactly. I'm going through with the same phase right now. Probably I'm following your steps. And initially, when I was hiring, I was also looking for sharp coders or people with the extreme skills or people who are way above my skills. That would I love to prefer to hire. But right now, I'm looking for, okay, skills can be on the lower scale, but he should be a good human being and good team player, because that is the most challenging thing.
I think that's the most important thing. Basically, mostly when you work in a startup, that's like going to war. And you want to have someone right next to you that you are comfortable, like, asking stuff from, and you know that when you need them, they'll be there. And then comes, everything around technology. What projects did they work on? So we are microservice oriented company, fully 100% cloud. So the kind of personas that we are looking for are developers that worked for microservice environment, that they know what a Kubernetes is, okay, how to monitor Kubernetes, how to work in a Kubernetes, how to work in microservices, and basically they solve these complex use cases of working in a microservice distributed environment. So that's what we are looking on the backend side. On the front end side, we are looking for developers which are not framework developers, and that's, I think, really
The
important
core
when
developers, core JavaScript developers who knows in and
yeah,
out of JavaScript.
that would know how a web browser is doing its stuff, and how do they need to monitor, how do they need to solve problems by, what exactly is going on within the internals of the web browser.
You,
That
you
it
you
seems
might be facing a lot of trouble in that, because these days a lot of developers that we are also seeing are just React developers, not the core language developers. There's a huge difference between both of them. A lot of people find it very difficult to understand that more you're working on React, the more you're becoming a React developer. Today React is here, tomorrow it might not be there, but the JavaScript was here and it's always going to be there. So try to focus a bit on basics and the basic functionality of how browser works and the DOM elements are rendered on the browser, that is the whole game.
I couldn't agree more. It's a and we see it in the backend as well, right? That you get so many frameworks out of and so many libraries in Node.js, and you kind of forget on one of the first questions that we ask every Node.js developer is what is an event loop and how does it work? Because that's the internals of Node.js, and you should follow it by heart. Because if you don't know that, it will be very hard for you to solve problems when it comes to this single threaded, single process Node.js.
Exactly same. We also ask similar kind of question when somebody comes. It is how does the event loop works, or how does an event is triggered in the browser. So these kinds of foundation question we always go in for. Okay, so right now the front end, how big is the team there?
So we are getting close to 50 employees total. If I'm not mistaken, 30 of them are developers. We have a great product and product design, as you see. So we invest a lot of time in designing the flows and designing the product, so it will have this wow effect we are all looking for. And we have a growing team of marketing and sales. Not too big because we believe like in PLG and self service, but it's growing.
Nice, nice. I think we can help you a bit more in the marketing and the knowing your name side. Maybe we can plan out a bit of a hackathon for you. We'll manage everything. You don't need to worry at all. We'll manage and host everything up here. And maybe we can ask developers that, hey, use Frontegg and now build something great. So we'll let them open that what kind of challenges you are solving. And on top of that, the layer of the Frontegg will help you to get the user authentication. So I think we can plan something around it. I'll ask my developers to build some challenges around it.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
And we have audience like a whole huge audience come around. Yesterday we closed form for one of the hackathon with GitHub. Around 1,200 people signed up, and there are developers from Microsoft, and even one of the entries was from Tesla. So a whole lot of developers are coming in.
Wow, great.
Okay, so nice one. Okay, just before we wrap this up, one more question I would like to fire there up is what is that one advice you would like to give to a fresh developer?
So first of all, if you're just getting started, that's the first step in the development world. Um, one of the tasks I give my developers, sit them around, and I don't give them any tasks. I usually like give them the list of bugs that we have currently, and I say you can choose whatever you want from here. And I think that by doing that, you can identify which developer is the most curious one, because they'll go and they'll pick up, especially in a microservice environment, a week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, these developers that basically took the most complex bugs out there, they know the system by heart. So if you're a new developer, we just joined, a big company, a big project, something like that, study the system by heart. Don't try to go over manuals. I may be like ruining, onboarding for other managers, but I don't care. Don't read manuals. Don't try to take like a fantastic feature. Go over the list of bugs. That will help you. That's basically list of bugs is a great online documentation, internal documentation for the company, because you know what features does this product have. And if you take and as many bugs as you're able to solve, especially if you are full stack and you take a little bit from the front end, a little bit for the back end, that will help you basically understand the actual product that you are working on, and be as curious. And this is what I always say to my developers: you never stop learning. I've been coding for 25 years. I've been reading, I've been following YouTube channels, I've been following new technologies. You never stop learning. Okay, that's what keeps us in this life of being a developer.
I totally agree with you. And this is coming up from somebody who is having a 25 years of experience and is saying, I'll learn every single day. I think this is the biggest motivation that can be for anybody out there. A guy with 25 years of experience who don't need to now learn, he just can manage the team, but still he learns every day. He likes to write code every day. I think that is the biggest thing that you can say around.
Totally, totally. You need to be like, even if you're managing, and today the paces are really fast. Even if you're managing, you have to still be on top of the technology because you want to have an eye to eye level discussion with your developers. You don't want to be someone that doesn't know the technology and just managing stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so it was really an awesome live with you. Thanks for joining it. I truly appreciate that you have spent some time joining up here and guiding some of the fresh developers. Really thankful for you.
Sure thing, sure thing. Thanks for having me.
I'll also catch you up behind the cameras. Let's organize some hackathon or something for the new developers. We'll take care of all the things. We'll build up some of the problem statements or something. And a lot of people have been asking that do some hackathon live, online version, not the offline version or something. So I think with your product, it's a great solution that we can host our first online big hackathon up here. So what do you say about that?
That sounds great. I'll be happy to take part in it.
Sure. Okay, a couple of questions are coming in. So just a quick answering of that. Rohit asked, design pattern or advanced algorithm? Which one should be the preference? Tough question.
So that's a very good question. In the world of microservices now, and there is now microservices. All we are now going to the world of nanoservices. So it's design patterns are more for the complex systems. So in microservice, but still, I mean, we're using SJS. Most of it is dependency injection. You want to have separation, segregation of controls. You want to have domain-driven design. So I would totally go with still with design patterns. You need to know how you are building your software, even if it's small, properly, and then you leave the advanced algorithms to something that can be contained within a microservice environment.
Okay, another question that comes up is Frontech coming to app side as well?
So currently, no, we don't have any plans for it, but totally written. I'll see how we can make sure it happens.
Okay, nice. I think that's all our relative questions. They are coming up, but I'm pretty sure most people will be firing up their questions once the live is in the comment section as well. But it was great to join up. A lot of people, go ahead, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, as well as go ahead, check out Frontegg, one of my favorite library these days, to do all the user authentication. Spoiler alert, we have been using it into our internal tools already. It's in production. So, and again, thank you so much again for joining in. Probably we'll do another such live or something. We would be really happy to have it. And again, people are really appreciating that we can have the online hackathon. It's a great idea. So sure, we'll be going for, and again, we can have some of the project ideas, something from your team, something from our team. Let's combine that, put up a portfolio and all of that use Frontegg and build something awesome. These are the challenges you can solve. And then we can do some of the swags and some prize money. I think you might be having your logo is really nice. So I think that will look nice on t-shirts.
Perfect.
Okay, so that's it for this live. Thank you so much everyone for joining up, and I'll surely catch you up in the next such video.